Hey everyone, it's the Mike Rogers Show here again, part 2 of our interview with the lead singer of The Seeds, Mr. Paul Kopp. Yay, Paul!
Hey, hello everybody. Hey, Mike.
Hey,
great to be back.
Great to have you. Hey, you're wearing the same shirt as yesterday.
I'm wearing the same shirt. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. I've got one for every day of the week, actually.
Wow.
I'm a big Stones fan.
Oh. But that's a real old shirt.
Yeah, no, that's
an antique.
Yeah, this is an antique. I think I got this in the 70s, man.
They would sell for a lot of money in Japan, that t-shirt.
I bet. Yeah.
They have shops.
Well, you can't have it.
Okay. Well, they have shops here that sell only old t-shirts.
That's great. Wow.
And
I mean, soiled shirts. I mean,
no, they've been washed. They've been washed, but like you go through there, and it's just all like, Grateful Dead, old Stones, and stuff like that. And then the kids buy them. And I heard or read an article yesterday that the kids who buy these shirts, they're wearing a Rolling Stone shirt. You got like a 18-year-old kid wearing a Rolling Stone shirt, and they asked him, "Do you know this band?" They're like, "No."
Yeah.
Like, do you know any of their songs? No. But it's just cool.
Yeah, you probably got it. Do you have Target? I don't know if you have Target over in
No,
Japan.
we don't. They don't have.
Yeah, it's from Minnesota though, actually. But yeah, Target is it's a store here, and everyone gets their shirts there. And yeah, half the kids don't even know who the band is on their shirts. It's funny.
Okay,
yeah.
So Paul, can you tell us about you said you have 3 projects. You've got The Seeds, the Tall Poppy Seeds,
Tall Poppy Syndrome.
Oh, I thought it was Tall Poppy Seeds.
No, it's Tall Poppy Syndrome. It's an Australian slang term, for people that put down all, friends that put down other friends and whatnot. That you have the Tall Poppy Syndrome. I believe I have that right. I hope I do.
Nothing to do with what's it called? Wait a minute, I'm forgetting English. Heroin.
No. It's just guys that constantly put people down.
Oh, and then you have another band called The Strangers.
Strangers in a Strange Land, but people call us strangers. And
okay, yeah. Well, so that's what people want to know. I want to know about that. Tell us. I don't know which band is most important to you. I would imagine.
I don't know. It's got a lot. Well, and all 3 we have a lot going on in all of them right now. It's exciting times for my partner Alec Palau and I. Alex in all the projects with me. Alec and I go back 20 years doing music together, and he's my best bud and love him to death, and wouldn't be doing this without him. There's no doubt. And him and I are tied at the hip like Rosie Greer and Tony Curtis, I guess. Wasn't there a movie? There was a movie where they were tied together and they're breaking away from the jail. I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Never mind.
I've lived here for a long time.
Yeah. But exciting times with the Seeds. It's we have 2 shows this month.
Tell us about the Seeds. Just tell us about the Seeds. Okay, go ahead.
Well, yeah, we put out a single. The Seeds came back really in 2017, and came back and put out a single on Hypnotic Bridge Records. With Stu Pope, and wonderful label out of Southern California, Sierra Madre area. And it did really, really well for us. It actually generated airplay. It was the song Vampire and the song Butterfly Child. It's a single. We'll have to get you a copy of that. And through that, we've been playing around for the last few years. We played over in England, did a festival over there a couple years back. We've played Los Angeles multiple times, played up in Seattle last year's Freak Out Festival up there, which is Guy Keltner's just an amazing job up there. But so we've been doing that, and we're been playing around, and we have a couple shows this month. We're playing a famous venue in Marin County outside of San Francisco, where all the Grateful Dead, all the guys used to play, called the Sweetwater Music Hall. It's a pretty famous place. We're playing there on October 22nd. So we're in a couple of weeks. And then we're also at the end of the month on Halloween weekend, we're playing in Kansas City, Missouri. We're playing at the Record Bar for the Skidorama Festival, which is a cool festival that Joey Skidmore puts on. And real excited about that. We have the Seeds documentaries out there on Venmo, where you can pay per viewing and see that. It's a wonderful documentary that Neil Norman, whose father was Crescendo Records, the guy who's behind the Seeds, and the other half and other garage bands and whatnot from the era, and also jazz. I mean, he did Ella Fitzgerald back in the 40s.
Wow.
But yeah, amazing guy. I think there's a talk of some movie about him in the works. So it's interesting. That's Crescendo Records. Gene Norman was his name. So you can see that on the documentary on Venmo, which is a paid service. So that's with the Seeds. And we also have some new music potentially coming out, where we have a couple of songs that we're working on. So that's the Seeds. And then we're also...
okay, wait a minute. I got to tell you about the Seeds and me.
Sure.
So when I was a little kid, so we're talking about 1965 or 1966, my mom and dad used to go to this lady's house. Her name was Mrs. Snap, and my mom was a seamstress. And they would tell me, you got to go with us. I don't know where my brothers went. I don't know, but they used to go bowling and stuff, and I wasn't into that. But I would say to my parents, okay, I'll go in the car with you guys, but I get to control the radio and what.
Oh, right on.
And my dad would complain. He liked country music, and my mom would say, of course you can do that. And so I would just be zapping, and this was Minnesota radio stations. I'd just be zapping the stations, and then one day I zapped it, and that song "Pushing Too Hard" came on.
Right on.
And I only heard it for a few seconds, and I thought, this is it. And my dad was just pissing and moaning because, what is this shit?
What's this garbage you're playing, these kids?
But
kids these days.
From that day on, I was like totally into the Seeds. And then I went out and bought a record. I think it was a 7-inch record with Mr. Farmer, and I don't remember what the beat was.
Yeah.
And then I really got into that, and I thought, actually, and I hate to say this, everybody likes the Beatles. I like the Beatles too, but these American rock bands, I thought, were better.
Right on. So you were in
yeah, especially bands from Texas. For some reason, there were a lot of bands from Texas that only were one-hit wonders. But I really, really, really like the Seeds and
Elevators.
Your friends. Yeah. And what was it? Standells? Yeah, Standells.
Yeah, Standells are great. Yeah. That's LA.
Yeah. I really loved those bands.
Well, Tony Valentino's doing that show of the Standells. Is doing the show in Kansas City that we're doing in the end of this month at the Skidorama. Tony Valentino's bringing his band there. So that it's a cool little festival, the Skidorama Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's just an honor singing, with these guys. It's an interesting story we can get in a little bit. Is I met Sky, the band we were talking about, Magic Christian. We played South by Southwest Festival in Austin, Texas. God, we played 6 years straight. The first few years we'd just be playing outside, just set up anywhere on gravel roads with generators. But then eventually we worked our way to the actual official festival. And one year, it was 2007, I think it was. I would go to I would do the show, and I'd always see this guy and this guy with a beard. And he was always looking a little grubby looking, and he always smelled a little bit of, just marijuana. And he was sitting, he came to every show. And then on one show, I saw a mutual acquaintance, a friend of mine, Kevin, who was friends with him. And he introduced me. He goes, "I'd like you to meet this guy. His name's Sky Saxton." And I went, "Oh, wow, you're Sky Saxton of the Seeds." And he goes, "Yeah, man." And so we went outside, we had a beer, and we talked, and he came to every show that year that we did. We did 8 or 9 shows, and he was at every one. And then finally, last one we hung out, and he came up to me, and he took me to the side, and he goes, we sat there, we had a smoke, and he was talking to me, and he goes, if the Seeds ever come back without me, you would be the singer. Honest God, he said that to me, and I went, wow. Now, I've heard from other people, he's told a few other people that, but it came to fruition. I mean, right after that, I did a show. Actually, it was years later, not right after that. A few years later, I met Daryl
Mhm.
when my band opened up for his band in San Francisco. My old band opened up for him, and he saw me, and then he said, "I'm going to bring back the Seeds. I've been looking for somebody that was kind of like has this energy and has this thing that Sky had." It was very flattering, and he said, "Would you?" And I was like, "I don't want to. Geez, nobody can replace Sky Saxon." I said, but he said, "You know, I want to do this," and I thought about it, and you know, Daryl. He's really into getting out and playing, and you know, he's the last remaining original Seed, and I'm just doing my thing. It was hard. I guess, you know, I thought about it, but I'm doing it as a tribute kind of to Sky is the way I look at it. And I just love singing the material. It's such good stuff, you know. It's just great music, and it's a lot of fun, and people love it live. It just crosses generations. Everyone can relate to Pushing Too Hard, you know. Everyone you know what I mean? Especially in today's world.
Yeah.
So so the Seeds thing has just been a lot of fun, and we have a bunch of other stuff, and we have a couple more songs hopefully that we'll get out there next year.
This is a little bit off the subject, but I think you have a good look for
the
Seeds.
I got it.
Everything's a package the way I see things. So the Seeds have a certain look. It's like back in those days, you know, the Seeds had a certain look, and that was a look like that's what a rock and roll band should look like. And I thought the Seeds that were that way. I thought the Standells were that way, and I thought Steppenwolf was that way. They were a band. This is what a rock band should look like. And I still have that image in my head.
Those are like three of my. You just named them. Wow, that was No, I'm a huge. I met John Kay. It was like one of the things. Really, I'm a huge Steppenwolf. Early, their first records, first 2, 3. Really like. No, he's a big inspiration to me. Big. It was a big thrill to meet him.
I'm so honored. I'm so honored to be talking to you because you're the lead singer of the Seeds.
Kevin Bacon. I'm connected like the Bacon thing. But it's a hoot doing the Seeds. But I'm really excited about Tall Poppy Syndrome.
Okay, tell us about that. And Tall Poppy Syndrome.
We got Vince Maloney from the original Bee Gees, one of the original 5. You know, that did all the Massachusetts. I Started a Joe. You know, all the great songs.
Before they went disco.
Yes. The good era.
Yeah.
Right now. You know, the 67 through 70, I guess it would be. But it's been in with Vince, and he's just incredible person and great talent, incredible guitar player. With Clem Burke of Blondie, you know, I go back with Magic Christian with Alec Palau, who I'm with all my projects with, Alec and I going back, and then Jonathan Lay of Jigsaw Scene, and Dave Davies, Carla Olson. He's cutting some great stuff with her. I just heard it yesterday. That sounded great. And you can check out Tall Poppy, by the way. It's tallpoppysyndrome.bandcamp.com.
Okay, I'll put the link. I'll put the link underneath this video.
And then also Facebook. And we have a new single that we're going to be working on shortly. It's coming soon. In the early December. We also there's a record coming out tomorrow. This is Rock and Roll Radio. I think we have a song that's coming out on Kool Kat Records, Kool Kat Music. That comes out tomorrow. We're real excited about that. This is Christmas Eve or Halloween, which is the Bee Gees song that's doing so. We covered this old Bee Gees song that was a track going back to the Idea record of like 1968. And we did our version, and it's been number 2 all over the world right now in independent radio. It's doing really well for us. Rodney's just played us the other night, and we've been getting a lot of airplay with that. And we're real excited. If you want to check that's on, you know, at Bandcamp and also all the music services. And it's a real hoot doing that. We got some live dates. We're hopefully going to have together for next year soon announced. And I'm real excited with Tall Poppy. Working with these guys is great. Vince is amazing. And we did
send me Tall Poppy's songs.
Absolutely, I will. Absolutely. And then I got, you know, our Strange, which Tall Poppy came out of Strangers. Strangers in a Strange Land. Alec works with Shell. Shell Talmy, you know, who did the Who, you know, the Kinks. Like I said, Bowie, Easy Beats, Friday on My Mind. That's him. Peter and Gordon. Not Peter and Gordon. Chad and Jeremy. I don't know why I always do that. I always mix those two. I always do that. But amazing. We were recording a couple of tracks for our record, which will be coming out beginning of next year. Strangers in a Strange Land. We're also on Bandcamp. You can check us out there. And Shell was producing it, and we brought Jonathan in, and he did a session with Clem, a song called Broken Tambourine, which did really well for us about a year ago. And out of that, we just all got along, and then Vince was working with Jonathan, and we all kind of combined together, and out of our session with Strangers, it became Tall Poppy Syndrome. And now Strangers will have a new song, I guess, up on social digitally up in next, I think October 21st it comes out. So just a few weeks. And the debut comes out. Our debut shows, like I said, we're playing up in November the 9th at the Albatross Hotel in the kickoff the Freak Out Festival. Strangers will be bringing a band up, which is basically the guys in the Seeds without Daryl. It's the two other guys.
Oh, yeah.
Dustin Smith on drums and Mark Belgraff on guitar. And we're playing this festival. We're doing the kickoff party, and they have all these go-go dancers. It's called Boots, and it's these amazing looking girls and dancers. They're amazing. And it's up in Seattle, and it's a big scene. It's a cool scene they have in Seattle. And we're doing two shows. We're doing that party on November 9th, and then on November 11th, we're playing Daryl's Tavern, which is a cool club in the Seattle area with the Sinister Six and another band as well. And real excited about that. And then our record comes out beginning of next year. And on I don't know if that's Hypnotic Bridge. Tall Poppy Syndrome, not to confuse you guys, but the single with Tall Poppy Syndrome will be out on the Hypnotic Bridge records. Okay. And Strangers, I'm not sure which label. We have a couple of labels we're looking at right now that are interested. So and we could put it out ourselves. We could just put it out ourselves too, which we have distributing, so we could do that if we wanted to. So we'll see. But next year, a lot of stuff going on.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So one thing, and this is just side note, this doesn't matter. I thought Jonathan Lay's name was Jonathan Lee.
No, Jonathan Lay.
So I think people have told me his name, and I thought we were talking about someone else. So he was in, what band was he in?
Jigsaw Scene.
Yeah, Jigsaw Scene.
Great LA band. Yeah. He said to say hi to you. Jonathan's wonderful. Jonathan has been the real. He's been the real guy behind the whole Tall Poppy Syndrome thing. He's been just he's an amazing guy. And a wonderful, such a talented guy, and just a great person, and real been great being in a band with him. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, tell him I'm.
And Jonathan can pay me now later for saying all that stuff. I'll take.
Yeah.
I accept checks and PayPal.
But
hi, Jonathan.
I thought his name was Lee all this time, and I'm talking about
people.
Long time.
Everybody in our band gets your name. My name's Paul Koff, but people ruin my name. Paul, Kiss. I get it all. Phil Koff. Alec Palau. Alec gets Paleo. The diet thing. He gets a lot of different things. Clem, they usually get. People remember, but Vince sometimes. But Jonathan, we all.
Well, tell Jonathan. Tell Jonathan I said hi, and tell Clem I said hi.
Absolutely.
And tell them both. Tell them both. If they want to be interviewed on this show, that's anytime is fine.
That would be great. I will definitely pass that on. You're definitely two guys you want to talk to.
Yeah.
They definitely.
I'm going to tell.
Super talented.
So I know you're doing these three projects, and you got to concentrate on those. But what are your long-term goals? Like, for example, you're playing in the Seeds, and the real reason why you're doing that is to help keep, what do you call it, the Seeds legend going and stuff like that. What are your goals and for everything that you're doing besides money? Okay,
right. Yeah, that actually, that would be great. But I just do it because I do it. I think it goes back to being, telling you about my experiences as Winterland. Being a little kid walking up and down Haight Street. I don't know anything else. I'm a singer. It's therapy for me. Getting up on stage and I do it for the love of it. It's crazy, isn't it? Saying that, but it's kind of. It's just me. It's just I've come to grips with it. Believe me, it's just me. it's just something what I want to get out of it, I guess, is it would be great to make a living at it. I just love to tour the world. I love traveling, and I love to see the world. And I don't have kids, and music's just my life, is to get out there. I just enjoy performing for people and entertaining, making people happy, I guess. There's nothing like, a performance for me. I'm a live performance. I love making recordings. Alec and I are so different. Alec's like, the record, the recording, and he just loves that. And he's the kind of guy that can sit there while they're doing the drum, setting up the drum, boom, boom, boom. And wow, that's not, I got to get out of there. I can't.
Oh.
So, but I live performance, seeing reactions from people, having people, react to the music I love. And the music I love is, we'll be honest, it isn't the popular music of today. Today it's, all about the rap and all that stuff. We're kind of like the jazz music. Clem Burke has a saying that the rock and roll of today is like our parents' jazz. When we were listening to rock and roll in the 60s, it was their jazz was how rock and roll, is, if that makes any sense. I do it because it's the music I love. And
okay, just sum that. So basically you're doing what you do for posterity's sake.
Yeah.
To have something remain in history, and one day when we all die, people gonna look back and say, yeah, that guy was the lead singer of the Seeds.
That it's kind of like leaving something back. I there's something to that, particularly when you think about the music.
I totally agree with that. And I think the same thing about my own life. I'm not in a band now and have no plan,
but I get that vibe from you. You definitely will, or you definitely, that's what part of who you are as well.
So we're like, we're like brothers.
No, it's funny when music, when we were, growing up, I'm assuming this, from what you've told me, I'm guessing it's the same. It meant so much. I mean, I remember like every Tuesday, getting the record factory. It's going and seeing the top 10, what was coming out, the releases the next week. The list, the charts were it was just such a fascinating time. And music meant so much, and nowadays, I don't want to sound like the old guy, get off my lawn thing, but it was a different, music meant our heroes were musicians. I don't think that's the case really anymore. Sir Mix-a-Lot's, great. I mean, that's great. I'm using him as an example. I know, just throwing him out there. I don't know why I'm using him, but I mean, wonderful musician maybe, but I don't really particularly follow his political or whereas John Lennon, when he would say it just, the Beatles. I mean, I try to explain to people, even when I was so young, I actually got into the Beatles like in the second run, 73 with the Red and Blue albums came out. So that was I was 10, whatever. But even when I was a little kid, I mean, they would come, the Beatles are on TV tonight. It was just, it meant, I think, to that generation. Bob Dylan. I mean, come on.
I think, Paul, you definitely must come to Japan as soon as possible.
I would die. I want to come so bad, Mike. Get me over there. I would love to come.
Because
I'd come anyway, just by myself.
Of course,
I'd eat raw food. I'd do it. I'd come on over.
Well, of course, pop music, hip hop music and stuff is popular, but there's a massive rock scene going on here, and it's been going on for a long time. And it's like the 60s. Like you go to a Japanese club and you see a band and the club is packed with people. And I mean, they're like this.
Yeah, I know.
And they're just going crazy.
Their reputation of the Japanese audiences are amazing. I mean, I have a lot of friends that, and I love the Japanese music, by way of the Rabbits. And what was that band? There's a couple of bands I really like out of that era, the 60s.
Yeah.
Escaping the great Japanese bands. But yeah, I've always wanted to get over there, and all the bands. Daryl would love to get over there. It's if all the dots could connect. I know Tall Poppy, there's been talk of possibly getting down to Australia, because of the Bee Gees, with Vince. And there's been some talk of some festival down there. But obviously, if we would do that, we would love to come to Japan. So maybe we can make this happen.
Yeah, if you go to Australia, you might as well come to Japan.
Yeah. And that's something Tall Poppy definitely, hopefully can do.
So you would come, you could come as Tall Poppy Syndrome, and you could come as the Seeds. And you could open for yourselves.
That'd be good. Just go on a different outfit. The guy works in the office. He goes, that's my secretary. He goes get the other. Yeah. I like that.
So when I was in the Rogers, we used to open for ourselves.
Oh, that's good stuff. In different outfits.
We would be a country punk band, and
I love it.
We never got found out. They never found out.
Did you have two different names? Well, obviously.
Yeah, and the clubs never found out and never got mad at us.
We
got paid for two bands.
That's wonderful. When you went for paying the money, would you send two different guys?
No. Like so I would go to get the money, and then the drummer.
For the first band.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love that. I gotta use that. Actually.
Go ahead. Yeah.
The Mike Rogers method.
So anyway, so do you have, Paul, any last messages? And maybe for what we were just talking about, any last messages? Because like in this country, there's a huge rock and roll explosion. And
wow, that's great to
hear. Totally into all sorts of rock. I mean, you can meet people and they like Gene Vincent, Buddy Holly. They like the Beatles. They like the Rolling Stones. They like the Sex Pistols. They like the Clash.
Wow.
And it's like that.
We see that a little. I mean, I do see that over here. There is a little bit, but nothing. It sounds like nothing is as big as that. Yeah.
And they still have record shops here. Like there's record stores that only sell punk records.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's
would
great
include, to hear, man. That is so great to hear.
That would include the Seeds and the Standells and groups like that.
Well, I'm sure Scott. I think Sky got over there a couple of times. I think Mark and Justin, the two guys in the Seeds, the drummer and the guitar player, they played with Sky. In the Seeds that toured in the 90s, I believe. And I think they went to Japan. I'll have to ask them, but I know they did. They toured Europe. And we were all big fans of the whole culture and would love to get over there and play.
Do you know the rock? Do you know the rock band Koretz?
Yes, I know of them.
So I met them.
Never heard of them.
Oh, you would like them. They really sound like Phil Spector 60s.
Oh wow, 60s I love sound. That. Yeah.
So I met them last night and I interviewed them just for a few minutes. And what about Japan? Do you like the most? And the lead singer Flavia told me she's really impressed because there's so many kids here who are into rock and roll music, and there's so many, and there are so many all girl rock bands.
Yeah.
Tons of them.
Wow.
And it's just exploding. And any night of the week, there's 800 clubs in Tokyo.
Wow.
So you can any night of the week you can go see all sorts of bands and stuff like that. So it's
I know Daryl was telling me, and I told him I was doing an interview with you and you were out of Tokyo. He says, I want to get over there. We'd love to get over there. If it all worked out, would be.
Well, you got a tour guide if you're there.
That sounds great.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this has been we got to stop this talk because we're going to wind up talking for like 3 hours.
I can talk. I know.
So anyways, I'd like to say thank you so much to Mr. Paul Koff, the lead singer of the Seeds, the lead singer of Tall Poppy Syndrome, and the lead singer of the Strangers in a Strange Land.
Yes.
And Paul, you've been a great guest.
Well, thank you, Mike. I really enjoyed talking.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you like this video, go down here, click like and subscribe. We're going to have great interviews every day. So I'm Mike Rogers. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Sayonara. Thank you.